Good morning, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Xa Talk Show. Today we are going to code Emacs Lisp. We are going to write a command to do empty trash on Windows, on Mac, on Linux, or delete empty directories, list empty directories, list empty files, list Emacs backup, delete Emacs backup. So these kind of commands. So it's gonna be Emacs Lisp coding. Good morning, Oflamio and Smokey. Okay, let's begin. So let me show my keyboard. This is Glove 80. I have reviews on my website. Just search for my name, Glove 80. This one. And this one is Ultimate Hacking Keyboard. Both of them are fantastic. Okay. So let's show my screen. Yeah, okay, I'm good to go. So let's begin coding Emacs Lisp. Now I'm using Xa flag keys, and you can see the pink window is all my command calls and keystrokes on the left. Okay, let's enlarge it a little bit. Okay, let's begin coding. For example, I delete this block of text, and you can see that command is there. If you search on the web, you'll usually find the code. They are almost all in Xa flag keys. It's on GitHub. Okay, so let's start the first command, delete empty trash. Okay, I'm using Xa flag keys and Vorak keyboard layout, and I'm using Xa HTML mod. So okay, so let's begin. So the first command we're gonna write, let's see how many we can do. It's gonna be 40 minutes something. Okay, Emacs Lisp. Okay, let's begin Emacs Lisp code. So define, we want to delete trash. Okay, so Xa empty trash. Now how do you do it? Okay, I already have a command for PowerShell, in PowerShell. So search for empty, search for trash. So you can see here is the PowerShell command. So let's copy it here and let's see. Okay, so it's very simple. It's clear recycle bin. Clear recycle bin is a PowerShell command. Okay, so let me show you. So here is the basically this part is the, and you can, I'm using Xa PowerShell mod. So you type H, tab H, then it will go to PowerShell documentation, turn on JavaScript, and you can see clear recycle bin. So that is a command provided. So all we have to do is call this. Okay. So call this from Emacs, empty trash. You see, normally I turn on the, I go to my terminal on Windows and I can say Xa empty, EMP, EMPT, oh, the command is actually just named empty trash, not Xa empty trash. So usually I just call that and empty trash. But I want to do it in Emacs, so I can call it in Emacs directly. Alternatively, you can start a shell. Let's see. You see, now you can start a PowerShell. You can say Emacs tempter. Okay, I don't want it there. So for example, you go to the diet. Okay, so actually, yeah, the window is not wide enough. Let's just make it wide. So you go to diet and you start a shell, MetaX shell, and you got PowerShell, and you can say the, which is a PowerShell command, things like that. So, and I can now call empty trash here. and it'll do the same thing. So I'm running PowerShell inside Emacs. Kill it, yes. But now, today, we are going to write the Emacs command. So I just meta-x empty trash. I don't have to go to the shell. Okay, so now the trick, all you have to do, basically, all you have to do is call this PowerShell command. Now, the tricky part is how do you call a PowerShell command inside Emacs Lisp, okay? And that, for that, we can simply do, let me try this, okay? Shell command, okay? Shell command, okay, so this is the string. Let's see if that works. Optional output buffer, error buffer, no. I don't want special buffer. So let's describe function to look at the shell command documentation. Let's see what is the default output buffer. Commands output buffer. The optional second argument output buffer if the nil says to output buffer in some other buffer. So otherwise it's it usually output default to some shell output buffer. Okay, so anyway, let's try this. Okay, clean up the code. Okay, let's do that now. Okay, now actually first of all go to diet and open this directory. Now my trash is empty. How can I show my trash is empty? It doesn't show trash here. Desktop, no. I want to show trash. Okay, so okay, there it is, recycle bin. Okay, so let's put some stuff there. Now all these are my temp files, so let's delete. Do you want to delete? Yes. So there's one file in recycle bin. Okay, and now what to do? Now we run the command. So now you can see eval last exp. Now Emacs know the command. Now meta-x xar empty trash. Okay, once we press enter, this file should be gone. Let's see. Let's see if that works. What? Oh, you have to complete empty trash. Clear recycle bin is not recognized as a internal or external command. Okay, that's expected because when you call shell command, it's actually it is, what exactly shell is it calling? I don't know, but we can do what we want by, there are many ways, okay, by actually looking at, so I want to empty trash. Basically now the problem is I want to call a PowerShell command within Emacs. So how do you do? I have examples. I have written code before. So for example, I want to open this buffer in VS Code. So I can do meta-x open VS Code. Okay, so this file is open in VS Code. So how does that command work? So we can just look up describe function xar open VS Code. Okay, now here's a documentation for that command, and it's in xarflag keys. So this is how you do it in how you call PowerShell. So you can see, so all you have to do is, oh, okay, this is not a good example because it's simply called code.cmd. But in our case, we want to call a command in PowerShell. So actually, I know what to do. Actually, it's pwd pwsh. So let's try that. Actually, trial and error, that's not good. Actually, so the best thing to do is to go into one of my my package diet. So that package contains what's going on? Contains a lot of functions. So this matching lines function, so you can see all these functions, and many of them, for example, open in Inkscape, open in GIMP, open in iPhone View, which is image viewer on Windows, open in Krita, image editor, open in MS Paint, open in text edit. So one of these commands will do. So actually, let's see, open in Inkscape. So if it's Windows, then okay, this is getting complicated. It's using start process, which is more efficient than just a shell function. So let's see. Yeah, okay, so let's go to Softlight Keys actually, and simply search for pwsh, okay, because I have written commands for this before. Oh yeah, so here it is. So here is what you want to do, shell command, and do that. Okay, now go back to the recycle bin, and so we want to do shell command format pwsh command. So here is the command. Instead of start process, it's going to be not start process, so it's just that, and no argument. Okay, shell quote argument we don't need. So that, okay, basically eval buffer. Now let's check the recycle bin. There's one file there, and metax empty trash. Do it. Fantastic. You can see the trash is gone. So we completed that. So this is basically, this is just this command. So far so good. Documentation. Okay, let's put some documentation. Version, today's date. Now, right now, this function only works for Windows. So you want to add some kind of condition so that on Windows, you call this command. On Linux, you call some other command, okay? So what you want to do is condition. So this gives you several options. So first of all, system type. So if system type is equals to, let's see, what is the available system type? That's a variable. So you describe variable, and you can see the documentation. So that is the type. So if the system type is Windows-NT, then this is what you want to do. Fantastic. Otherwise, let's put some more. So otherwise, if it's GNU Linux, not Linux, but GNU Linux, then you do something neo, okay, for now. Now, if it's Mac, which is the system type is Darwin, silly name by the Free Software Foundation people. They don't want to name it Mac OS. Well, Darwin is kind of the open source version of Mac OS. So if it's Mac, then you do something. Now, I don't remember exactly what is the directory for trash on Linux. I think it may depend on distro, so we can just leave it for now, okay? So if none of these match, then you just say true, then do nothing, nil, okay? So basically, here is our complete command for empty trash. Now, if you are on Linux, you can add, what to do on Linux. Okay, I think that's it. Empty trash on Linux Mac. Okay, that is a complete code. Now back to the HTML showing browser. There it is. Back to Emacs, format them, back to browser, refresh. Fantastic, we have one command. Let's continue to next command. Oflamio says there's a shell variable trash. Okay, what do you think about Obsidian? I forgot what that is. Okay, it's a stone. Disambiguation, it's a software something. Oh, a note-taking software. I'm not into note-taking software, and I'm not much into note-taking itself because it's one of the fashion. There are many systems that tells you open mind or mind tree, mind graph, or whatever. My philosophy is that if you need to do note-taking, then you are procrastinator. Okay, how do you deal with procrastination? You don't deal with it. That's the final solution. Procrastination. The first thing you deal with it is that you are a procrastinator. Accept it, then just do what you have to do. That's all these self-help things. They usually do not help. The most important thing is you have to set your mindset right. You have to make yourself realize that you have potential, or you are necessary, or you want to do something, you have a desire. Then you don't need all this self-help, because the innermost power came from your desire, which in part is your personality. So if you have problems with that kind of thing, you want just to relax, seek friends who can help you or who appreciate you. You want encouragement, that might help. Okay, so Obsidian is note-taking. Yeah, I'm too old to look into these different softwares. So for some circumstances, such as when you're studying mathematics, proof theory, type theory, homotopy type theory, then you want to take notes. Or when you are learning Emacs, or programming language, Python, Golang, so on, PowerShell. So in those cases, you want to take notes. But otherwise, I don't like to do, the to-do kind of stuff. Unless you are a businessman or professor, you have a lot of schedules, then yeah. But otherwise, I don't do that. So anyway, we finished one command. Let's continue to next command. Let's see which one we want to write. Empty directory. Okay, delete Emacs backup. Okay, so we have Emacs backup, we have Lisp backup, delete backup, either way. Okay, so let's write a delete backup. Okay, Emacs Lisp. So we start another function, define xar delete Emacs backup. Okay, version, today's date, and some documentation. Delete Emacs backup files. Okay, with a tilde in current recursively. Okay, because normally if you just want to delete, the font is too large actually, so let me just shrink it. Okay, so maybe that's better. So normally if you are in the add diode and you have some files you want to delete, you can simply press the you can simply press the tilde sign and it will highlight all of them. Then you can just press X. Then you ask you, do you want to delete them? Say yes, and they are all gone. So, but that doesn't work for nested directories. So if you have nested directories, that doesn't work. So that's what this command will do. Okay, so in order to do that, so we want to delete them in current. So this command will be convenient. So you just delete all nested directories of the current wherever this file is at. You don't have to go into shell or diode. So okay, so first of all, default, default, not delete directory, default directory is a variable that contains the directory your current buffer or file is at. For example, we can evaluate it. Eval last sexp, you can see right now my current directory is that. Okay, so that is a variable. And you want to traverse, okay, so let's write it out. Traverse the default list or names ending in tilde. Okay, then delete them. Okay, that's what we want to do. Okay, so now we want to traverse the. How do you do that? I don't remember offhand. So you search for xar Lisp, Emacs Lisp basics. You'll find how to. So in this case, you want to go to Emacs Lisp, practical Emacs Lisp, and you want to go to text processing, get user input, files and buffers, file and directory, work directory. That's what you want. So this is the file you want. I mean, this is a function you want, directory files. Okay. Okay, so but this function does not recurse into subdirectories. So if you want subdirectories, you want this function, directory files recursively. Okay, so great. Directory files recursively. There it is. We have a shortcut. Fantastic. So the directory will be default directory, and the regular expression will be anything ends in a tilde sign. Okay, and optional include directories. So what does the optional include directories mean? Include directories. Optional argument include directories. The nil means also include in the output directories whose name. What? .local slash share .local slash share slash trash. That's a trash location on Linux. Thank you. So what is this? Oh, that means so the includes directories means should the output include directories as opposed to files? We don't want. Okay, so we just want files. Okay, so that will give so here's what we to do. We declare a variable. So a list of path and set a list of path to be that what am I doing? So let's make them larger. Okay. Okay, so we have a bunch of file path. Now we want to map a function to all these file paths, basically delete them. Okay, but before we do that, we can simply run this code to make sure it runs correctly before we go further. Okay, so eval last sex and then we just call this command. Okay, copy it. Okay, it should return a list of files. Now let's in this current directory. So let's make a new directory first. So new directory XX. Okay. Okay. Then create some random files. Okay, go to the directory. So that's a random file. Close it. Make a backup. Yeah, make backup. Okay, so anyway, we have several. Now go up one directory, close it. Okay, now if we call delete, it should list them. Okay, let's try it. So there's a new feature in Emacs 29 where you press Control U 0 first, then you call last sixth. Do that so you get the full list result in the buffer. Okay, now let's change them into lines. So you can see it worked because it included subdirectories. Okay, now you got the files. Now it's very easy. All you have to do is to map a function. Okay, and what function you want to map to delete files. So the sequence is the bunch of file path, and what the function do you want? Delete file. Okay, so let's look up the documentation for delete file. Delete file name optional trash. Okay, delete file name optional trash. Okay, so that's gonna be just X. In fact, you just there. It will map the function delete file to each and every of these. So let's try it. Okay. Eval eval. Okay, and now let's go to the directory. Let's open this directory, refresh. It's all gone. Fantastic. Okay, it's fantastic. Now, in fact, we are done, but what we want is to let's see, what we want is to, let's see, let's make a backup again, close that. We want, when we call this command delete Emacs backup, we want it to print a list of files that's deleted to the message buffer. Yeah, okay, so the question now is, what delete file what does it return? Okay, so so let's try copy file path, close. Okay, we're gonna test this delete file function. Delete file. Okay, now we want to know what does it return. So run it. It returns nil. Okay, so let's see. Yeah, it returns nil, so it doesn't return the file path. So in that case, what you have to do is, okay, you just put file path at the bottom. Actually, in case some file didn't get deleted, then the return value will be wrong. So let's modify this instead. We use a lambda. Okay, lambda. So what does the lambda do? The lambda will delete the file. Okay, then return it if it's successful. Now, how do we know if it's successful? Let's look up the documentation for delete file again. Delete file named that. If it's a symlink, remove the symlink. If it's multiple names, continue to exist. Okay, trash the neon is we call it interactively. Other. Okay, it doesn't say successful or not, and this is written in C code. It does not give you an indication whether delete is successful or not. Yeah, okay, so there's nothing you can do. So yeah, in that case, we just return that. Okay, so in fact, let's remove that. In fact, we want to print each one of them. Do we want to print each one of them? Usually there's gonna be hundreds. Like in my use case, usually there's 100. So do we want to print them or not? I guess not. Let's just return the value. Okay, so actually this is it. This is the function, okay, so let's make sure it still works. Okay, evaluate it, remove this, and now metax delete Emacs backup, do it. Okay, what does it return? It doesn't return anything. Wait, why does it not return anything? Oh, okay, because I was using the metax. So go to the directory again. So it's gone, right? Okay, so this is the delete Emacs backup. Okay, so that's successful. Now this should be cleaned up because there is the issue of whether you want to print those files that are deleted or not. Anyway, so that's the the first draft. Okay, so go back to HTML, color it, show in browser. So we got 2 commands done. Okay, let's try another command then. Empty trash, list empty the. Okay, list empty the will be slightly tricky. How am I doing? How are you guys doing? Oh yeah, so you guys are talking about the trash in Linux. Actually, I have an article on that. Linux trash, but it's fairly old, kind of outdated by a few years. So written in 2013. So you have the command gvfs trash that will, oh wait, this is deleting a file to trash. Okay, now on Linux, the gvfs was stand for GNOME virtual file system something, but they kept changing, so I don't know if it still exists. Anyway, the trash directory is these locations. Again, I don't know if it's up to date or not, but the .local share trash is probably still. But anyway, the trash on Linux system is very bad, very, very bad. Because I remember 10 years ago, I was trying to delete a few hundred files on a USB stick, and it just stuck there. It's like, anyway. So we have, what we want to write. So yeah, what's the comment? Usual path. Okay, so hexa isomut. I got myself a Glove 80. Fantastic. And it feels like I'm relearning to type again. Reminds me the times that I was learning Haskell. Fantastic. When's the next rant? You pay me, I'll do a rant. Yeah, PayPal me, or super chat something, and put up a topic of rant, and I'll give it to you. Okay. So how long have we been? 40 minutes already. So what else we want to write? Let's see. Yeah, so we can write another command. List empty files. Okay. Yeah. Okay, let's try that. List empty files. Okay. Okay, Emacs Lisp, show pink window, pop out, define xa list empty files. Okay, and let's copy some of the documentation so we don't have to type everything again. Okay, list empty files in current directory recursively. That's correct. Okay, so but basically just like before. So let's copy the code. Just like before, we have to recursively dive into directory. Okay, and in this time the empty files. So empty files, you don't have a regular expression. Anything we want everything. So let's look up documentation for directory files recursively. Oh, so regular expression is required option, required parameter. Okay, so regular expression is a required parameter. So in that case, it's just dot. A dot matches anything. Yeah, I suppose. So now, what we do now, so we have a list of files. Let's show it. Okay, so delete that. We can actually try it. So go to the diet, go to list we just made, open it, delete the text, save it, go back to diet, refresh. Now we can see it's 0 bytes, empty. So we have one empty file. Okay, make a copy, so you see all these empty files. Okay, close, wait, let's copy the directory name, close, and paste the directory name here so we can open it easily by jumping to it. That's the command is start open file at cursor. Now in Emacs, if you are using plain GNU Emacs, you have a command called find file at point, which is basically the same thing. Okay, close that. Now, so we got a bunch of file paths. So let's just show it. Okay, eval buffer. So now Emacs know the command. Now eval this. Oh, so okay, it returned a lot results. Okay, so let me do it again. Control U0 eval last sixth. So here is a complete result list. It's huge. Okay, now make them into a lines. So you can see all these files are supposed to be empty. So let's check. Actually, it's correct because you see this file we created, it's empty. So we can open this one. Okay, it's incorrect. You see, it's not empty. Oh yeah, obviously, because you did not check for the file size yet. So you need to check file size. Okay. So let's see what's the function for file size. Oh, we don't, wait, so we need a function for file size. So let's go back to Emacs Lisp tutorial, file and directory. I don't think I ever used a function that gives you the file size. So we need to look up Emacs manual. Let's see, file path. Yeah, so let's look up Emacs manual, file, information about files. File attributes, there. File attributes. Oh God, this is gonna be. Okay, I think after we write this, and that'll be it today. File and links. Right now we need a function that tells us the file size. Hey, Flamio, thank you. Oh, Flamio is paying for someone else's topic. So who's got the topic? Hame, Spade. It's just a problem with USB stick. Okay. Now what is that? So okay, so now we need a function that returns the file size. So maybe it's these file attributes. I have never in Emacs Lisp tried to do this before. So you got, there it is, file attribute size, the size of file in bytes. Okay, so this is a function, file attributes, and returns a list of attributes of file. Okay, if the let's just try it. File attributes, file name and optional ID format. Okay, let's just try it. There it is. That's what we want. Okay, so file attribute. Now let's try it. So let's just paste it here, copy the current buffer's file path, put it here, and let's run it and see what it returns. Okay, so Control U. Okay, so God, this is nasty. Okay, so I guess this is rather nasty. So you have to, so this is what it returns. So but you have to decrypt it, like you want to get the part that's file size. So the element of the list in order are, okay, in order, so size is number 7. Okay, size number 7, so you can say nth 7. Okay, so there it is. Oh, 7, not 2. Okay, you can see. Let's try again. There it is, 26354. Go to diet. There it is, indeed true. So that's the, so we got the file size. Okay, so this is how you do file size. Okay, now you need to integrate it into this function here. So for each path, so you want to map function if the file, the size is 0, then then you want to delete those. Okay, so now we create another variable, x empty. Okay, empty files. Let's just give it a better name. So set empty files equal to you're gonna do map. How you gonna do this? So we want to traverse, we want to map a function to all x path. For each one, you check the file size. Okay, so if it's equal, let's see, 3. Yeah, so we can use equal EQ to check integer comparison. So if it's 0, okay, and over here it's x file, that x means a file. Okay, so if that's if that is true, you want to return it. Okay, so one way to do this is you declare empty files to be a empty list. Okay, so instead of set, you don't set. Okay, so let me do it this way. Yeah, because you cannot map to it. Actually you can, but let's do it this way. Okay, so let's do it. This is kind of not a functional way, but it is a Lisp idiom. Let me show you. Okay, so what you do is you map, for side effect, you map a function to a bunch of file paths, and for each function lambda, you check if this is true. Okay, so if instead of if, we can just say when. When this is true, then you push that file to the list of empty files. Okay, so this is how you do it. Okay, so let's actually do more cleanup. Yeah, this is hideous. Anyway, so this so much indentation. So anyway, so this will do it. In fact, this part actually we can just move it here too, so that's more symmetric. So we have two variables. Okay, then we map. If it's 0 size, we push it to empty files. Then we return empty files. Okay, so evaluate the function, call it. There it is. Now let's do it again. Okay, so remove this part, control U0, call last 6. Okay, it's still huge. I think we still got it wrong. Let's open this file. Oh, that's correct. Let's go to the diode 0. You see, correct. Let's open this file. It's empty, correct. Open this file, empty, correct. So if you go to diode, you see right now, let's shrink. Okay, so you can see now they are arranged, the file are arranged by name, by file name. So these are my temp files. Every time I have a buffer that's not empty and I close it, it will be saved into this temp directory, just in case I want it back. So periodically I delete a whole bunch of files here. But in the past, some of the files is 0 size, you see, 0, 0. So I want to sort this diode directory to see, to sort them by file size. So I can call a command. I have a xar sort, xar diode sort. Let's do it again. Meta-x xar diode sort. Okay, do it, and okay, complete sort by size. Okay, so now you can see all the files are sorted by size. Now if we go all the way to the bottom, you can see we have all these 0 file of size 0. Okay, so now we go back to our code. So this code is basically correct. Let's check a few. Open it, it's empty. Open it, it's empty. Ching, open it, it's empty. So it's all basically all correct. Okay, so now remove that. Basically this is our code. Okay, let's clean up. This is this got this issue. So anyway, let's put it this way. So eval that. So now one more thing we need to do. We want to map a delete file. Oh, this is actually just list empty files. Okay, so yeah, this command is just list empty files. So we just so that's it. That's it. Actually, we can print them. So let's print them. Okay, so instead, so we don't have to like manually do stuff. So let's print them. Okay, map a function to empty files. Actually, we want to return empty files. Map car. Actually map C. So map function. So all we have to do is just message it. Okay. evaluate it and delete that, call it xar list empty files, do it. Okay, now go to messages buffer. Now you can see these are all the files. Fantastic. Okay, now meanwhile let's just write another command to delete them. Okay, so delete empty files. So all we have to do now is just to call the list map a function to it, and this function will delete it. Okay, so this function will just delete the file. Okay, that's it. Okay, so we first of all get the list and let's just call it. Okay, evaluate it, and now meta-x xar delete empty files, do it. Okay, now drop to directory add. Can you see all these empty files at the bottom? Now type G to refresh, do it. It's all gone. Fantastic. Okay, so now we got two files. We got two functions. Color it showing HTML. So today we wrote basically three functions. Okay, let's look. What do you think of Norman Wieberger's criticism of the real number system? It's a tough question. Oh, Flamio, I don't know the answer, okay? Because I don't even know Norman Wieberger's criticism of the real number system. Let's see who he is. Divine proportions, rational trigonometry to universal trigonometry. Tangential thoughts, mathematical ruminations. You know, that so far this guy looks like a crackpot. You know, in mathematics there are a huge number of crackpots. You know, but so far the way, you know, these titles, this homepage, it sounds like a crackpot, but we don't know for sure. So let's look at this Wikipedia, and what is his name? Norman Wieberger. Okay, let's search for Norman. Okay, so divine proportions, rational trigonometry to universal trigonometry is a 2005 book by the mathematician Norman J. Wieberger on a proposed alternative approach to Euclidean geometry and trigonometry called rational trigonometry. Okay, so it's a proposed alternative approach to Euclidean geometry and trigonometry. Okay, Euclidean geometry and trigonometry. So it's a low-level, high school level geometry, but it's he's trying to use a alternative approach, probably meaning teaching. You know, is it teaching or foundation? We'll find out. And currently it's proposed. Okay, so that's why I say it's a crackpot. Like, I mean, this is not part of the established mathematics. But let's read on. The book advocates replacing the usual basic quantities of trigonometry, Euclidean distance, and angle measure by squared distance and the square of the sine of the angle. Okay, so you replace the concept of distance, the standard concept of distance in Euclidean geometry by the squared distance, okay? And you replace the standard concept of angle by the sine of the angle, okay? And this is logically equivalent to the standard development, as the replacement of quantities can be expressed in terms of standard ones and vice versa. Yeah, okay, the author claims his approach holds some advantages, such as avoiding the need for irrational numbers. Okay, I can see, so he basically want to replace the sense of distance by square distance and the sense of angle by sine of the angle, while everything remains the same. So, it's just an extra step. So, but his argument is that when you do this, things will become simpler. In particular, you will avoid irrational numbers, okay? Okay, so the book was essentially self-published, okay? That's typically what crackpots do. But I mean, not necessarily bad. I mean, but anyway, overall, this is trivial. I mean, this is not a significant advancement. It's nothing much. It's just nothing much. It's not a theory. He just believes that if you do this, things become simpler. You avoid irrational numbers. I guess that means you will avoid irrational numbers in distances, right? So because normally, for example, if you have a right angle, let's say a triangle of equal, with two angles at right angle, and they are the same length, and the other part is hypotenuse, hypotenuse something. So the distance of that is x squared plus y squared and square root, right? But now if you use his approach, where the distance is replaced by square of the distance. So if you use his approach, then the distance of the hypotenuse is no longer the square root. It's just x squared plus y squared, right? So in that way, you get rid of irrational numbers. But we have to think about what are the consequences. I mean, okay, so overview, the idea of divine proportion is to replace distance by that, and which he calls it quadrants, okay, and to replace angle by the squares of their sines. By squares of the sines, okay. By the square of sine, not just sine, okay. And which he calls spread. These crackpots usually have a lot of jargons, okay. So divine proportions define both of these concepts, okay. For Wilberger, a finitist, this replacement has the purported advantage of avoiding the concept of limits, actual infinity used in defining real numbers, okay. Organization and topics, okay. Audience, critical reception, okay. Let's see. Okay, it's mostly positively received, okay. What is your question? So what do I think of it? Open access, only 12 pages, okay. Okay, so let's quickly see what is overall picture. So let's see critical reception. So, but overall, this is elementary geometry. I mean, there's no big theory about it. Okay, this, it will take a while to actually review. Yeah, but so far it's just basic geometry. So it says an advantage of Wilberger's methods noted by Henley is that because they involve only simple algebra, the proofs are both easy to follow and easy for a computer to verify. However, he suggests that the book's claim of greater simplicity in its overall theory rests on a false comparison in which quadrants and spread are weighted not against the corresponding classical concept of distance, angles, and sines, but a much wider set of tools from classical trigonometry. He also pointed out to students with a scientific calculator. I don't think it's good. Yeah. So in general, in summary, my quick review is that this is nothing burger as today's slang. It doesn't do anything. It's not a new theory, it's not a new field. It's simply that he thinks by this extra calculation you avoid irrationals, but to what degree I'm not even sure you can. Yeah. So anyway, that's the article. Okay, so apparently there's another book or article, Real Numbers, a critique and way forward. Okay, let's look at that maybe. Okay, so far my impression, this is kind of crackpot thing. Okay, I don't think you should buy it. This is kind of, doesn't do anything. I mean, even though you mentioned, real numbers, critique, and forward, that's crap, because that idea, he's talking about real numbers, it's kind of already showing it here. So he's saying that if you don't want irrational numbers, this is what you do. But that's just, that's just adding an extra computation, So now, what I am interested so far is to look into the background of this guy. So, he self-published this book, and this is his homepage, and he's, does it say he's a professor of anywhere? Oh, he is a professor, okay? So let's look at his, so he's a professor. So, I mean, he's not a, some crazy guy, but he's a professor of mathematics. He teaches mathematics, but he has this idea, which is, he's got this idea that he think is better in. Okay, so he has written. Yeah. Anyway, so he's a mathematician, right? He's at least he's a recognized mathematician, a professor. So there is nothing wrong with what he says, but I think it's not necessarily, the significant. Welcome to Algebraic Calculus 1, 2001. Hello, Algebraic Calculus 1 course live. So, Flamio, you watch a lot math videos. It's amazing. But are you? I think I think if you are really interested, you want to dive into hands-on, become a mathematician. Because otherwise, what you're gonna do with this, same thing with programming. Okay, so an elementary course in pure mathematics meant for a very broad audience. Okay, he write a lot, but judging on these titles, it's just like going nowhere. Archimedes parabolic area formula for cubics. Okay. Plimpton 322 and Babylonian exact sexagesimal trigonometry. Okay. Yeah, he's let's indenture our children. These, they are not important theories or upcoming talk on Goldbach conjecture. Okay, some exciting news. We will next month be giving a talk. Okay, we'll resolve the Goldbach conjecture. That is a rather famous conjecture. Okay, the talk will be in Pure Mathematics Colloquium on November 2016 at the university. Yeah, it's not significant. It's like, but it's not. But it's. I wouldn't. I would not. For me, I would not spend time to look into it. Yeah, that's my. That's what I think. Now, finally, let's look at that real number book. Let's see. So he's one of the big math fan.
This is just a single natural number. To get a fraction, we need two natural numbers separated by /. How?
Okay, that's how he looks. He's got quite a few videos. Yeah, but basically, let's see, insight into mathematics. Let's click on his homepage. Box arithmetics, staff notation, old guy, sharp and flats music, box arithmetics. Yeah, so mostly just elementary math. Yep. So that's my opinion. I don't think it's significant, and I would not. That's not the direction I want to go if I'm gonna study more math. Okay, that's it for today. 70 minutes. Okay, thank you guys for watching. Bye. So we wrote 3 commands, 3 or 4. Okay,